everybody. I'm so glad that you've hopefully decided to join me today. I'm going to be sharing with you how to make this card, and I'm going to use my Stamparatus. Oopsie, sorry. I got too much noise here. There we go. Quiet that down. So I'm going to show you how to use the Stamparatus to be able to get the sentiment spaced evenly down the card. If you've ever seen these, I'm going to show you how to make the card. The card I've decided to use the beautiful U stamp set, which is you get two sets of stamps, lots of stamps here, and I'm going to use the one with the umbrella. I don't know, it seems to be, it's a beautiful day here on the west coast of British Columbia, but I know the rain is coming. So that's what I'm going to use for that. And for the sentiment, I'm using Beautiful Day, and the sentiment it says, "Happy birthday, may your day be as beautiful as you." So we're going to use that together. You could also do this so that you were using two different stamp sets, one with Happy Birthday and another sentiment, so that you could stamp them in two different colors if you wanted to. But I'm going to show you how I've done this. They're slightly different colors. It's a little harder to do with the Stamparatus, but here we go. Okay. So first of all, what you want to do is move this to the side. You can see this. This is the Stamparatus, and what I've done is I've taken a scrap of paper. So I have a scrap of paper on here, and let me just show you what I do. I use the grid paper that works with the Stamparatus, and I line up a piece of scrap paper, and I've put a little mark here. I don't know if you can see that little square with a pen, so that I know exactly where this is going to go. I find that you need to not have it right up in the corner for this to work the best. So what I do is I just mark a little corner on it so that I know if you're making more than one of these, you always just line up your piece of paper in that corner. And then I'm going to use this. I test it. That's why I've got a scrap of paper. I test it to see where it's going to line up. And so what I would do is take this off of here and put it where I want it to be for the very first one. Oops, not moved. And then put it down on the Stamparatus. And that way I haven't ruined a piece of paper, a piece of cardstock, and I can see where it's going to line up on my card. Okay, so that's what I've done for this. So I know where I'm going to put my piece of cardstock. Now I've cut a piece of Whisper White cardstock, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4, to go on the card, and I'm just going to line it up in my corner, put my magnet on. So what I did with this, I'm going to just wipe my stamp off. What I did is I'm using two different shades of purple. So I'm using the Highland Heather, which is just slightly lighter than the Gorgeous Grape. So I'm using these two together. And the reason I've done this is because I'm hoping that the Happy Birthday shows up a little bit darker than the smaller sentiment. So what I'm doing first is stamping the whole thing with the Highland Heather, which is the lightest of the two. And then I'm going to just stamp the Happy Birthday. And I'm okay with it if it doesn't actually get all of the words. It gives it a bit of an ombre effect. So then we're going to take this, press down all over in the stamp. And you can see here, it's darker on the top, and then it just fades down a little bit into the lighter. So now I'm just going to wipe this with a baby wipe. And again, I'm going to stamp it with the lighter. The whole thing just makes it a little easier to go over the whole stamp with the lighter of the two. And then just the Happy Birthday. Now, to do this, you're going to do the hitch step. So the Stamparatus is amazing because you can actually lift out the platform and move it down one spot and stamp. And you can see what that does is perfectly stamps it and makes it just, you don't have to worry about aligning it and getting it straight. So for the next one, you're just going to lift it up and move it down one. Again, I just wipe that off a little bit. Use my Highland Heather to do the whole thing. And then use the gorgeous grape just to do the happy birthday and stamp. You can also get a really cool ombre effect if you wanted to do it like that, so that it would, where I had a scrap of paper that I actually was testing this on. Actually, it might be on the back of my sample. I'll show you. So now I've come down to the bottom. Now, I didn't do this very well, you can see. I actually should have had it up slightly. So that's the benefit of moving and making sure you're in the right spot. Actually, here's one that I did. This was, I was playing with this. You can see in this case, all I did was I stamped it all with the gorgeous grape, and instead of re-inking it between, I just kept stamping all the way down the card. And so it gives this really pretty ombre effect. Now, there's always two sides to every card, so I'm going to redo this quickly, and I'm going to do the ombre effect because it's faster. So let me just see if I can get this lined up. So this is the darker. So let's try the ombre effect if I redo this. So okay, so there we go. So instead of re-inking, I'm just going to move it down. Let's see, it's lighter. Lighter even still. And hopefully that shows it there. So there you've got them perfectly lined up all the way down the card. And this one, like I said, is the ombre effect. Okay, let's just put the Stamparatus off to one side. Okay, so that's the first part of this card. Now you're going to take another piece of, close my ink pads. You're going to take another scrap piece of Whisper White, and you're going to ink up the stamp set, the lady with the umbrella, and just stamp it. Okay, and you're also going to put it off. You can see my card. I don't know if you can see. I've colored in using the blends for the dress, but I've actually cut out a piece of designer series paper in Purple Posy, and I've cut it out. So we're going to do that. So we're going to stamp a second image of just the umbrella on this piece, and we're going to cut that out. So take my scissors, and you're going to watch me fussy cut. Hopefully this doesn't take long. I don't tend to be too fussy with my fussy cutting. Okay. There we go. So that's my umbrella. That's the only thing I need from that one. Now I'm going to fussy cut the lady out with the umbrella. And as I said, I don't worry too much if I get a little bit of white on the side of her. I think I've mentioned this before when I've been fussy cutting. When you fussy cut, actually you should try to move the paper as opposed to the scissors when you're actually moving it. So it just helps you a little bit to get it cut out. So you can see I'm kind of turning the paper as opposed to turning my scissors, because I'm steering with my left hand, which is not usual for me because I'm right-handed. Okay, there we go. And there's my lady cut out. Now, what I did with this one, I just colored the dress. So I colored the dress, and I think I've also mentioned this before, when I use the blends, I always color with the lighter of the two first. Go over the whole image. And then I go and just give where I want some shading. So I'm going to do it around the waist and then down these lines. And then I go back over it with the lighter. Okay. And then the next piece, somewhere, oh, there it is. I'm going to just take my snail and I'm just going to put a little bit of snail on the back of this umbrella, and I'm going to adhere this umbrella, the top of the umbrella, on in the designer series paper. There, give her a checkered umbrella. Okay, so that's what all I'm going to do here. So for the card, what I did earlier before we were on is I actually cut out another one of these. You see there? Just out of a piece of this that I had here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a sponge dauber and some crumb cake ink, and we're just going to hold this where you want it. And I'm just going to go kind of gently sponge around the outside, the outline of the girl. To give it some background. So I'm just going to get the outline started, and we'll go back over this once we've got where I know she's going to be on the card. So we'll just take that off, and then I just take it, and it doesn't have to be exact. You could use Sahara sand if you didn't want it to be this dark, or gray granite goes really well with the purple colors. So I'm just gonna, most of this won't show, but it just gives it so that she's not kind of just sitting there. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take our lady and we're gonna use dimensionals. I've got some of the mini dimensionals, so we'll use this on the bottom, and these might be too big, so let me take, of course I've lost my scissors, I'm going to just take a really little piece here, cut it off of them, and use it on there. All right, peel the back of the dimensional off, if I can get it. Oh, now I'm stuck to it. Let's take it off with my scissors. There we go. All right, so we're gonna put it in the middle here. Now I have a piece of gorgeous grape, and again this is cut kind of the standard. This is half of an 8.5 by 11, so it's 5.5 by 8.5, and it's folded and scored and folded in half to form that card base. So we're just going to add some snail to adhere this on. Okay. And then somewhere I have some rhinestones, and I'm just going to put a few little rhinestones on the card, just kind of around. Oops, that. Oops. Rhinestones are popping off here. There we go. So there's 3 little rhinestones. So for the inside of the card, just put that to the side. I'm going to take our gorgeous grape, and I have, oh gosh, you know what? I thought I was doing so well. I cleaned all of my blocks the other day. I washed them to get all the kind of grease and ink off of them, and now I'm finding that they're not sticking very well. They have to kind of, they're maybe too slick. I don't know. So anyway, just use a little snail on these. These are the older stamps that aren't the cling stamps. So you wouldn't have to do this with the new stamps that are in the new catalog that are the cling, which is really sticky. But with these ones, they seem not to be sticking. Okay, So we're just going to put celebrate in the middle. And again, a little bit of snail on the inside of the card. So there, that's my card for today. I really love the purple, and I know I have a friend who her favorite color is purple, and so I'm pretty sure she's really going to like this card. So that's a happy birthday card that I thought I'd show you, and show you how easy it was to use the Stamparatus to do the writing. Just to be a little more careful than I was lining it up, because I moved it to show you, so it kind of got shifted a little bit. So that's where the scrap of paper comes in. So I hope you liked it. Facebook Live and show you another card. If you're interested in putting an order in, this is the host code. Any orders that come in online, I send you a thank you card, or if it's over $50 and you use the host code, you'll get a set of 4 cards and the instructions to make them. You also earn Stampin' Rewards from me. So for every $25 you earn a star, and when you fill up your card with 15 stars, I give you $20 off your next order. So if you're interested in ordering, this is the host code. If you have any questions about this card, please post them, and I'm happy to reply and let you know or answer your questions. And I will put the measurements for this card on the bottom of the video once I'm finished. So thanks very much for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the card, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.